My name is Tero, born and raised in Finland, as you can see from my name, face, and if I'm here from my accent. I'm the chairman and CEO of FinEx Metals, which obviously is focusing on exploring Finland, mainly in the northern part of Finland, exploring for gold. And we just got recently listed on the TSX Venture in Canada in June 18th with the ticker of FINX. As usual, there are going to be plenty of forward-looking statements, as I'm sure you are aware. But before going to FinEx itself, so my background, again, I got a business degree from Finland. I spent probably 27 years in Asia, mainly in China and Singapore, focusing on entrepreneurial ventures. And I started as an investor in this field in 2003, first to gold and then the gold equities. And in the past 7 years, I've been fully focused on this industry. I don't have a technical degree, so I rely on my business partners as technical experts and well-known, experienced exploration geologists. But I'm a co-founder of NewQuest Capital. So about 7 years ago, we incubated that one. NewQuest itself is an entrepreneurial, discovery-driven investment group that incubates and finances early-stage exploration projects globally. And what I mean by globally is really about the mining-friendly jurisdictions, the real mining countries where the major mining companies want to one day acquire deposits. So we are presently in Australia, we are in Canada, in the Western US, and then obviously they're also in Finland. So right now we have 4 companies that have been listed on the Canadian stock exchanges, and then a couple of private companies, and together we form this NewQuest Capital. Now, going then to FinEx itself, it is an opportunity, a golden opportunity there in northern part of Finland. As you probably know, recently Finland was ranked as #1 in Fraser Institute's recent study on the most mining-friendly jurisdictions for exploration and mining. I think we reclaimed our previous top #1 position from 2017. So in a sense, the timing is Finland is well recognized of being a mining-friendly jurisdiction. And then again, I'm originally from the southern part of Finland, and I have to emphasize that it doesn't mean that whole Finland is so mining friendly, but especially the northern part, if you are there in the central Lapland greenstone belt where we are, so that truly is top tier, first class mining jurisdiction globally. So what's our vision? Vision is obviously to discover Finland's next high-grade gold deposits. We have a large portfolio of 100% owned project located in the central Lapland greenstone belt of northern Finland. Our flagship project called Ruoppa. It adjoins Europe's largest gold mine, Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine. We're about 17 kilometers away from there. We are also located on the same geological belt as Rupert Resources' Ikkari discovery. As you probably many of you know, in 2020, Rupert made a significant, really world-class new gold discovery in northern part of Finland, and that's kind of triggered also why we initially wanted to incubate FinEx Metals. And in the past few years of very systematic approach and sampling and top of bedrock drilling, we have identified the key priority targets at our Ruoppa gold project, which is now fully permitted, and we are actually drilling there as we speak. So exciting catalysts going on right now. To me, as my background is mainly as an entrepreneur and investor, it's all about people first. And I've been very fortunate to be able to assemble a great team, both there in a head office level, meaning board of directors, as well as then at the technical team, boots on the ground in Finland. In Canada, we have a lot of experience from major mining companies, from junior mining companies, also from capital markets, from IR and marketing. We even have an ex-senior partner of a major audit firm within our board, being the head of audit committee. And then, of course, we have an excellent CFO who also acts as a corporate secretary. Almost more importantly, also in Finland, so we have a diverse team there of experience. I think the guys have already more than 100 years of combined experience in exploration in Finland and in other parts of the Nordic countries as well. But so it's a good combination of major mining companies, junior mining companies, academia, and GTK, that's the Finnish Geological Survey. But really importantly, we have these two young guns, two younger geologists who are really motivated and full of energy and doing really great job in the field, leading the teams in there. And of course, then on top of the team that is mentioned in here, we have formed great partnerships with some excellent service providers, including the drillers, both for core drilling and top of bedrock drilling and the core cutting facilities and whatever. They're just top notch. So just super happy about that, proud of the team that we have. About Finland itself, again, you know the location in the Nordics. It is a mining country, especially in the European perspective. We have Europe's largest gold-producing mine, that would be the Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine, that produced over 218,000 ounces last year. We have 44 operating mines in the country. We got excellent infrastructure and very low corporate tax rate, and it's just politically very stable jurisdiction, as I mentioned, ranked as #1 in Fraser Institute's recent study on being mining friendly. It's more for the infrastructure, because it's tough to explain this one now. Finland is up north there. Our project is on latitude 68, so well above, maybe 200 kilometers north of Arctic Circle. So people get a bit confused about, okay, Tero, it must be really expensive to operate there. You need to fly people and the stuff with the helicopters and with the remote camps and all that stuff. And that's not at all the case in Finland. So I'm right now in Finland, been spending a couple of weeks on our site or nearby our site and bringing in visitors both from our head office and the board members as well as some key investors. And everybody's just so amazed on how great the infrastructure there is. So very well paved roads, or at least then well maintained forestry roads. We got 5G network in there. We got power lines. We got government support. We got the airports there and everything. So it's just super easy to be working in there, and which of course then means that exploration work is relatively inexpensive, or at least let's say competitive compared to many of the other countries. And it may be more important, should we be fortunate to actually make a significant discovery, the capex would be very reasonable compared to other jurisdictions at these latitudes. Moving on, again showing the on green here there's the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt, and you can, as you can see, there are the major mining companies. Many of them, the big names, are there in some shape. Some of them having their own mines already, or then via joint ventures or earning agreements. So really, some of the big names: Agnico Eagle, Boliden, Rupert Resources, B2 Gold, Orion, Kinross, Anglo American, and Finnish Minerals Groups and many others are there. So it's really coming up and coming destination, which has been underexplored in the past. And the key reason for that is that before Finland actually joined EU, European Union in 1995, no foreign exploration activities were allowed in the country. So this Greenstone Belt has been compared geologically to Abitibi in Canada, or Norseman Wiluna in Western Australia, or Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kraton in Africa. And but it's been significantly less explored because of these historical reasons. Furthermore, also we have this glacial till that is actually covering pretty much all the bedrock, so that makes it even more difficult and challenging to be finding these new deposits. But again, a lot of increased activity in there, and that's the reason why we are there. And Finland ranked as #1, and I think we at FinEx Metals probably have the best address, or among the best addresses within the nation. So very important for us, and makes of course our life much easier. And this is just to show the lay of the land. You can see plenty of forest there, very flat, easily accessible. These are actually the trenches from last year, showing that we are just 17 kilometers away from Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine. And a bit of the regional setting more here from the land position perspective. So the blue ones are our tenements. The dark blue one is actually where we are fully licensed there, fully permitted there for our Ruoppa project. That's where we actually drilling and doing the mechanical exploration work. And then the light blue ones are then exploration reservations or license applications. So you can see we are adjoining Agnico pretty much friendly neighbors in there, and actually on the same shear zone as the Kittilä mine, which again I mentioned is Europe's largest gold producing mine. A little bit of the history milestones, what FinEx has done so far. So we were incubated in 2021, so about 4+ years already of history. Time flies when you're having fun. Now we started really about gathering all the data what was available from northern Finland. And again, we decided from the very beginning that let's focus there on northern Finland. Let's focus on central Lapland Greenstone Belt. And so we acquired all the data from there. And then we started staking. We assembled our 100% owned royalty-free land package. We have several different tenements in there, including our flagship current Ruoppa project. In 2022, we started initial field program, so we did extensive mapping and soil sampling completed then in 2022. Again, we are very fortunate with our Ruoppa project because it's located on dry land, so we can operate there pretty much year-round, and especially during summer, so we've been able to do a lot of soil sampling and trenching and whatnot. 2023, we got our exploration license that was granted for Ruoppa gold projects as well as for our critical minerals project called Tulppio, which is in the eastern Lapland. And then we started the first top of bedrock drilling program on Ruoppa. So there's been previous work conducted by GTK, that's the Finnish Geological Survey. And then we had about 1,002 samples drilled in 2023. And then we continued on that one on 2024 with another 984 samples. And then we really started to see, where are the key priority targets within that Ruoppa gold project, and did also a trenching program there. So we excavated over 630 meters and then started to get some really great numbers from the trench grab samples. And that then led us to the point that in early 2025, we actually did a go public financing. We raised $4.3 million. It was an oversubscribed financing. And then we got listed on the TSXV on June 18th, and then immediately started our summer field program. And right now we are doing core drilling there in the Ruoppa East target. So it's been a very systematic approach. Again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheels here or anything like that. We're trying to do exactly the same thing using Rupert Resources playbook on a very systematic approach and different exploration methods. And now we're at the point that we are doing the first ever drilling program in the Ruoppa East target. So very exciting. Always important is the capital structure. So again, I got a business background, so I'm very specific about preserving the capital structure, both not having too many shares outstanding, being very mindful of the dilution, but also then keeping in mind that it's not only the quantity, so it's sometimes more important the quality of the investors that we have. So once we got listed, we got exactly 250 shareholders, and 39% of them would be from management and insiders, about 15% from strategic investors, including four funds, and then the rest would be retail. And even from the retail, I think majority are people that I know personally. So we got right now slightly less than 60 million shares outstanding, 5.9 million options outstanding, and 10.2 million warrants. And again, we are fully funded, and we are doing our drilling program. I guess finally, just recapping here is the other investment highlights. So what we are, the project itself adjoins Europe's largest gold producing mine by Agnico Eagle. So we are in a great location, so the best address in Finland. We, from the last year's trenching program, we got some pretty impressive results from the grab samples, including all the way to 95.1 grams per ton from one sample. But more importantly, over 50 samples grade about 1 gram per ton and 19 over 10 grams per ton. So pretty exciting results, and now we are drill testing that. Mentioned excellent infrastructure. You can believe that things can get easily done in there. And then the team I mentioned also, we got good combination of technical and then commercial and financial expertise in our business, and even more importantly, the local boots on the ground, that they know how to handle the stakeholders there. They know the geology, and they know the partners that we want to work with. and we are fully permitted and drill ready within our 100% owned Ruoppa Gold project, and again, drills are turning as we speak. So I'm going to end this one here, and I'm happy to be answering any questions, Gorm, that you might have for me. Thank you.
Okay, so that's good. A good summary. I would like to dig in a bit more into your career. I mean, you spent a lot of time in Asia, in China specifically, doing sort of various business. We don't need to get into the details there, but it's an interesting. I know the stories at least a little bit. But more curiously, how did you? And that was not in mining, to my understanding, specifically. So, how did you find your way into this industry, and what was the story leading up to the founding of NewQuest? And then we'll dig into sort of what NewQuest does more specifically after.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So I mentioned I got a business degree from Finland, graduated in 1993, and that was a pretty tough time here in Nordics. You are too young to remember that one, but anyways, so it's a pretty bad recession then, and I think many of my friends, either they left for the US or for Europe, but I'm kind of decided that I want to be a contrarian and I'm going to move far east, and then I ended up in China and actually studied some Chinese and ended up working in there in various industries, mainly as an entrepreneur. And I really got into this one is in early 2000, and my Canadian mentor, actually, he kind of semi-forced me to start buying gold in 2003. And of course, in hindsight, it was great advice. And I took that advice, started to buy a little bit of a gold. Then the gold equities, we had this boom, as you might recall, until 2011. And of course, since then, it was some tougher years, as we all know. But anyway, I got really interested in gold itself, and I would say commodities in general. And in 2014, I think I made my first private placement to a junior that I actually understood nothing about. But it was recommended by my friend, and I kind of, okay, hey, let's take a bit of a punt here. And a speculative investment, not putting all in, but a little bit, small little placement. And it went really well, and so did the other one. And I would think I was kind of hooked that this industry is very, very interesting and very exciting, and there are opportunities if the timing is right and you get lucky, I guess. And I've been an investor ever since. Now, so I participated in lots of private placements, and then ended up meeting my current business partners. Started with Alistair Waddell, who's a very experienced geologist and a great career. He used to be also the VP of Global Greenfields Exploration for Kinross Gold. So met with Wendell Zerb, the great career in the industry in Canada. Also was an analyst at Canaccord and PI Financial and whatnot. He was a CEO of Exeter that was bought by Goldcorp in 2017 and whatnot. So him, and then Caleb Stroop, who's also another geologist based in Reno, ex Kinross. So we formed this NewQuest Capital, and then with the vision that we want to be entrepreneurial. We want to be discovery driven. We want to operate in mining friendly jurisdictions. Want to be looking for something like really tier one kind of deposits that could move the needle to a major mining company, with the full understanding that we are just an exploration group. We won't be miners. We'll leave it for the major mining companies and whatnot who understand that part of the business. And it's been really exciting. As you know, the market itself can be a bit frustrating, but got a bit of a portfolio approach here. And again, focusing on good commodities, gold, mainly gold, copper, which we believe that really have a long-term good opportunities to succeed.
So NewQuest, do you guys, so more sort of mechanically, you incubate, you identify projects, both, I mean, prior to discovery, historical projects, you finance them in the early stages to generate baseline data and so on. Do you do this as individuals, or do you do this through NewQuest? How is that usually structured?
It's a really good question. And basically, it's both. So NewQuest is the largest shareholder. For example, FinEx, I think NewQuest owns 19.1%. Then individually, we put in our own money as well. And really the key is to, again, it's more of a tick in the box exercise, starting with the potential exit. So the point being, and again, we don't want to be developing a mine. We don't know how to do that one. Okay, let's be honest there. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, kind of mindset. Okay, what would be the jurisdiction? Would it be something potentially big enough that it would be scalable, would be of interest to any major mining company, actually really moving the needle, make them interested? And then really it's about people. So each and every one company has to have a champion. I mean, there must be somebody who's the driver. Yeah, we all chip in, we help, there's good boards and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a captain of of each ship, and that's so crucial, and that's why also it's kind of limited how many companies would be able to incubate and actively run. Now, on the other hand, then in NewQuest, we also passively we invest to some promising companies, the people that we know, we want to have, good, trustworthy people who do what they say that they are doing and actually develop the company and advance it to a certain point and whatnot. So we want to support them as well. That's pretty much what is a bit of a hybrid model, business model what we have, but both NewQuest Capital invests and then we as principals we do the same, and really looking for the synergies because. The end of the day, we have same back office. We share our marketing team. The efforts can be shared among the NewQuest Capital Group companies. Obviously, the office space itself. The key service providers. We have great technical advisors that actually serve us throughout the companies or within the portfolio of companies and whatnot. So I can see lots and lots of synergies. As an investor, I meet many other CEOs. And many of them actually, they're frankly saying that it's a pretty lonely job at the end of the day. If you're just by yourself, it's you. It might be your part-time CFO, and that's pretty much what it is. And then facing the market every day without having someone like a sparring partner and asking for advice. What do you guys do right now? What are the best practices? Who are the best service providers and whatnot? So I can see a lot of advantages in being part of a bigger group.
So you're somewhat able to reduce G&A. As one practical, but I wanted to ask specifically the shareholder structure of NewQuest. Is that mainly owned by the founders, or have you sourced external capital into NewQuest from other sort of capital providers to invest? And then perhaps also, if it's appropriate to ask, how much capital is under management at NewQuest currently?
So it's just basically the founders. Plus then, our CFO, some of our back office partners, but no external money has been raised for NewQuest Capital. And really, what is the AUM? I cannot give you any specifics on that one because really heavily depends on what is the market price of our own incubated company. So that is the biggest factor of that one.
So passive is definitely the smaller component of.
That's true. Yes.
Okay. That's very interesting. And if we look at the companies that exist within the portfolio, I mean, FinEx has been in the works for 4 or 5 years, but you've just gone public and you're just now drilling. But you have a few other companies who are already have been through that process, and they're now largely structured with majors. So you put them into joint ventures, significant ones, with majors, and that's sort of one outcome, obviously, one likely outcome of an exit strategy for a junior like this. Maybe you can just briefly mention where these juniors are at and give us a sense of what the other companies look like. Very high.
Sure. Of course, yeah. So the first one was a company called Inflection Resources. Again, Canadian listed. It's like all of these companies are listed in Canada. But the projects are, in this case, they are New South Wales in Eastern Australia. So we're looking for massive gold, copper targets there. And we struck an earning agreement with AngloGold Ashanti, in which they finance all the exploration activities. We operate our team there, local team there in Australia. We operate the exploration work, and then we get a 10% management fee, which has been fantastic. It's been in the past few years that during the tough market, so there's been no need for dilution for the company itself. So the management fee has pretty much covered the G&A, and again, that's a massive tier one kind of target, kind of huge land position in there. I don't even know exactly right now, but we used to have at least 700,000 hectares in there. So for a junior mining company, sub 30 million market cap, it's a massive land position there, and really going for some, as I mentioned, like world class big copper gold porphyry targets. Then the other one, the second one was Headwater Gold, which is focusing on high grade epithermal gold deposits in western US. Mainly in Nevada, but also with some projects in Idaho and then Oregon. And with that one, again, our hybrid model is that we were able to attract NewQuest, today's Newmont, after the acquisition. So Newmont is the earning partner in the projects there, the Nevada projects, and again the similar kind of thing that they finance, we operate, we get the management fee, which is great. We also recently, just a few weeks ago, we struck another partnership with Oceana Gold. So some new projects were then assigned to them, and again the similar kind of deal that they finance, we operate and get management fees. So I guess the point being here is that we will have these majors early on, relatively early on in the story, and then again they help us financing the exploration work, which gives us, of course, more chances. The more drilling, the more chances to actually hit a new discovery, and that's the road where we are. And also, Centerra Gold is a 9.9% equity shareholder at Headwater Gold. So we've proven that our team, our companies can pass the relatively very tight quality control stamp of those major mining companies, that they feel comfortable working with our team and trust us that we are doing proper job, whether it's related to ESG or just how we spend the capital on exploration and whatnot. So very proud of this partnership with all of the companies that I mentioned. Then the third one was Red Canyon Resources, which is focusing on copper in British Columbia, as well as then a couple of projects in US, mainly Nevada and Utah. And again, as you know, copper is and will be in high demand, and especially in the Western jurisdictions with the geopolitical risks and whatnot. So I think Red Canyon is a very good position to take advantage of that. And then we have FinEx. So these four are listed. Then we have got a couple of private companies that most likely will remain private. Sometimes it's easier to keep companies private if you can fund them compared to being public listed.
Okay, that's good. It gives people a good sense, a bit of a better sense of how NewQuest works. In terms of the management, insider ownership, I mean, currently it's a very big component. We usually don't see this big ownership, but obviously NewQuest is the more than half of that, and the remainder is between yourself, Alistair, some of the other directors, I presume. Could you break down sort of, do you have a sense of what the average share price to acquire these shares has been? Obviously, you have funded throughout the riskier steps previously, so it will naturally be lower, but just give a sense of what your cost basis is.
Yeah, that's fair. So NewQuest would be, say, 3 cents, and personally I would be 5 cents. I mean, I've been participating, NewQuest has been participating all rounds, I've been participating all rounds. But yeah, again, 4.5 years of either not being paid or not being paid much at all. It's I think it's relatively fair valuation for those shares. Those shares are all escrowed. Well, I guess 10% became free trading, but we haven't sold any. I haven't sold any shares in the other 3 companies that have been listed, although the shares have been free trading for a long time already. So it's really for longer term investment from our side, and I just want to make this make a discovery and then hopefully a good exit. And at least for the time being, I have no plans to be selling.
And the financial position, we touched upon you touched upon the financing, 4.3 million Canadian raised. If we just start with what was the structure of that financing, who participated? I presume some of these funds that you showed in your slides. Impressive to get them in this early.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, I think about 50 of the existing shareholders. So existing shareholder base was approximately 150. So about 1/3 of those ones participated in the previous financing. And we got about another 100 new shareholders, which was great. High net worth individuals, mostly because that was a private placement, so it was only for accredited investors or friends and family. And then we got these funds. So basically we got Plethora in, we got Conwave or Gold 3000 in, we got the Australian Lowell fund in, and then Incubator from Germany has been a shareholder already for a few years. So guys have been very supportive of our story. And of course I'm proud to have these. As you said, it's very early for many of these funds to be getting into something that we haven't drilled a single meter of core drilling. So it's kind of sign of vote of confidence as well, of course, then seeing the opportunity because of the location, the shear zone of the previous work, and then the excellent results from the trenches. So I'm, of course, very grateful for their trust. And now we then, as I said, we are drilling, and we'll see shortly what the results will be from the first pass drilling.
So the financing was that 25 cents, and you're now trading at 36. Is that correct?
Yeah, financing was at 22.
22. With
half a warrant, and again, if I checked it correctly, what was 36 cents at the end of market yesterday.
the strike price of the half warrant?
35.
35. Okay.
Yeah, and it's for
And
2 years.
2 years. And do you have an acceleration clause on those on that half warrant?
No, we were thinking about that one, and then I don't know. Eventually decided not to have it, so I don't know whether it was a smart decision or not. But there is no accelerator.
Okay. And obviously, these are owned largely by the funds, I presume, but also by high net worth individuals. These warrants, so that's good. They're sort of approaching to be in the money, but you're sitting at that share price probably because the warrants are struck there. So the market wants to see some good results now, but it's very good.
Yeah. Sorry, I would agree with that. And again, I mean, now we've been listed for slightly over 2 months, and we really haven't been doing much marketing at all. And that's kind of by decision from our side. I didn't want to be doing massive promotion here or whatever. We just want to see what the drill results will be and then take it from there. So I didn't want to see a huge spike, from like 22 cents to whatever it could have been. Actually, it went to about 40 already and whatnot. So I'm pretty happy with where we are right now, and just hoping to see some really good results from the drilling.
Yeah, the fixed costs for the company, what are they on a yearly basis? So it's basically holding costs, corporate G&A. If you were to sort of cease or just go into maintain the assets mode, maintain the listing, what would those fixed costs be?
Yeah. So ballpark where we are I'm looking at Canada and Finland combined. Of course, that would be mainly for the like wages and compensation and whatnot. But all included, we have very limited. We don't have an office in Finland, for example. We have a shared office in Vancouver, as you know, among the NewQuest capital group of companies. So I would give you a ballpark 75,000 Canadian a month. And then now the land holding fees, because we have two projects that are fully permitted, so we actually need to pay annual land holding fees. So those would be combined about 90,000 Canadian per year.
Right. Okay. So very limited, basically.
So I know you are great in mathematics, but let's say ballpark, we're talking about close to 1 million Canadian.
Exactly, and then you might have some. Yeah, I mean that's a good sense. And then I guess you should sort of discuss use of proceeds here. And this is obviously sort of reactive. You have an initial drill program here that's been designed on the back of the race. But maybe you can just talk about what does the current budget look like with the fixed costs in mind. How are you currently thinking about it? Obviously, you can discretionarily expand this based on results, but what's the current budget?
Yeah. So we raised 4.3 for this one, and really the main use of proceeds is the field program this summer. It's already ongoing. Actually, we are coming to almost to an end of it already. So a lot of other work was done before the core drilling, which is still ongoing. So basically, what we did, we did a regional drone magnetic survey just to better understanding the geophysics from the whole, not only the exploration license area where we have right now, but also the expansion areas. And then we have done quite a bit of top of bedrock drilling. We did some additional soil sampling from the new areas that we increased to our tenements. We've been doing lots of excavation, trenching. I don't know the exact number by now, but maybe around 1,100 meters. And taking lots of new samples from there, so expanding the current target area. And also finding some new target areas within the tenement. And then obviously this core first pass core drilling program about 2,500 meters, which is still ongoing and will be going on until about mid-September. Now all of these combined with obviously then the renting the core facilities and doing this and that, some consulting work there as well. We budgeted I think Canadian would be 1.6, 1.7 million for this year, and then that would leave us basically about 1.6 million Canadian by the end of the year, unless we start doing immediately some additional work. But in any case, after this drill program, we want to wait for the drill results, get a better understanding about really what is the structure, what's there, what's the continuity, and what could the deposit look like and whatnot. So there's a lot of work to be analyzed after this one. And then again, I don't want to rush too much. Point being that let our guys do their work. Let's plan things really well before we start doing something else. Let's say the phase 2, which also then includes potentially raising more funds at some point. Then again planning and commencing the phase 2 drill program. Again, I don't want to comment on the timelines right now. It's really to be seen, but yeah, there are quite a few scenarios in my head and our board's head about what might be the next steps.
So 1.6 for the end of this year, does that include the remaining 4 or 5 months of the G&A? So basically like 3 months?
It does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
So that's very good. You basically have the flexibility then to expand the program. If we just talk about the drilling component there, 2,500 meters, how much does that cost specifically, just the drilling component? Give people a sense.
So we budgeted that in our NI 43-101 as well. So we budgeted the 330 Canadian per meter for that one.
Okay, and are you seeing that play out initially with the contractor, or how's the contract sort of set? Are they drilling productively enough so far to achieve that?
You see, we got a great drilling company who we work with. It's called Kati, Kati AB. And they are also a shareholder of FinEx. They've been supporting FinEx for the past couple of rounds and participated also in the last financing. And I can really see it's really kind of a partnership already at that level. And there's this amazing, great reputation being in the business for the past 45 years, family owned and just top notch. And whenever I've been now, I've been in the site quite a few times the past 3-4 weeks and with different groups and then the feedback what we're getting is just so professional, never seen as cleaner drill site anywhere in the world and whatnot. So that's one thing. Of course, that's important. But you said budget wise as well. So far, there is no indication that we would be exceeding that budget.
And obviously, they would be happy to maintain being a contractor and drilling more if you wanted to. I presume they have quite a few drill rigs. Maybe you can give a sense of how big their organization is. Do they have 10 drill rigs, or do they have 3, or what's the size of their?
Well, actually, I visited the site in north central part of Finland, and it's very impressive. I mean, it's not in a big city at all. It's in a rather small place, but it's very, very impressive. And they've been busy for decades already. And if I recall correctly, and I might be wrong here as well, and if I am, I have to apologize to them. But they would have around 18 rigs, 18. Right. Yeah. And they've been working not only in Finland but also in other Nordic countries. And I guess to your question, would they be willing and happy to work with us? I hope so. But the other thing is also they are so good that they are very busy, and we hope that we have they have the capacity and availability for us for our next program as well. I just don't know. Obviously, it's going to depends on the actual timeline when we want to start drilling again. But they will be the first option for us to discuss. Having said that, we do know some other good drilling companies also in Finland have really great reputation, and it's not like we are only stuck with one. I'm not saying that one. We have some good optionality. A couple of other really potential very good drilling companies. So we will be able to drill. And once again, I mentioned to you earlier, or in my introduction, that our flagship project is on a dry land. Unlike, for example, Rupert, which is mainly on the Ikari, is mainly on the wetland swamp area. So obviously for them, they can only drill during winter. Well, they are lucky because winters are rather long in Finland. But point being that they won't be able to do any drilling during summertime, and we do. So there usually is a little bit more capacity during those summer months. And basically, again, we can drill FinEx, Ruoppa, I would say 10.5 months. There's a time when we want to, respect our stakeholders, the reindeer herders and whatnot, so we want to give them some time, especially starting from mid-September. But that's really about it. So almost year-round, or at least 10 plus months, which is pretty good.
Yeah, indeed. So let's get into Ruoppa here. I think first I should just ask, you mentioned you've done this MAG survey, drone flown, and you've done sort of further the baseline data generation. And that might be at Ruoppa and also some sort of expanding around Ruoppa. But when do you expect to release these data sets, the MAG, the soils, the trenching results? Just give people a sense of when that would come out to the market.
I can't give you any exact timelines for that one, but again, I mean, it's going to happen within the next couple of months. So yeah, let's say October, latest on November, I guess. But we really want to do our work properly and then come up with more of a comprehensive report on our activities instead of dropping a little bit here and there. trying to kind of combine all the information, combine all the old existing and then all the new information to more of a comprehensive kind of data set.
Perfect. I should also ask, how were you able to acquire the Ruoppa license initially? It's you're right next to Agnico. They have an operating mine there. So this is something that people would ask. I mean, again, I've almost learned that these questions are to some extent useless because these things happens all the time. But again, I'll ask the question.
Oh, it's a great question, and of course, it's been asked from me before already a couple of times, and I would ask the same question as an investor. I would exactly ask that question. Okay, well, did you just get so super lucky? And maybe the answer is yes. We kind of did. So the property has been previously explored first of all by GTK, that's the Finnish Geological Survey, and they did pretty extensive 10 bays of till drilling in there and identifying gold anomalous trend of about, I guess it was 1.2 kilometers at that point, and now we have expanded to almost, well, let's say 2.7 kilometers. But anyway, kind of the baseline was there. They owned it for a while. Now Agnico has had part of it, and then last one was Orion Resources, which I'm an investor of, and I think is a great company. So the Finland, what maybe some of your audience don't know, that although I've been praising is fantastic, exploration jurisdiction, it is quite expensive to hold the land in there, which is good and bad. Again, like in my case, I'm happy that it's the case, because without that we would have never been able to get Ruoppa. So Orion had it for a while, and the land fees, it's still a exploration company. They had identified some other really excellent targets, and I guess they just had to come to a point that, they cannot expand, they cannot advance all the projects or keep all the tenements what they had, and eventually then they gave it up. And I had this discussion with the management of Orion, and that's the understanding what I got from them as well, that it's just a business decision at some point. And again, the reason was the land holding costs.
Okay. And then the subsequent, you've also been able to expand around the initial exploration license and currently an application to become exploration license, but it's reserved for you now. That's also, you're expanding right next to Agnico again there. So how were you able to get those? You did it
Yeah, you're right. Again, it's been still vastly underexplored. You would think that, okay, we are in proximity with the Europe's largest gold producing mine. You would think that everything has been explored many times over and over and over again. Yeah. It's not really the case. I have a lot of respect towards Agnico and what they have done on the ESG front there, and just building a good reputation for mining industry itself, and being active there in the communities. And they have a great exploration team. Met them personally quite a few times. By the way, some of our geologists used to work for Agnico in there. So the point being that it's still limited budgets. Even for the major mining company, huge major mining company, it's not like you have limitless exploration budgets. Just go through everything, do whatever you can in there. And once again, the bedrock is covered by glacial till.
Indeed.
So it's much more difficult. You actually need to be doing quite a lot of efforts on the exploration work before you can spot some nice looking rocks and whatnot. So it's a long explanation about the background why those opportunities still existed. But yeah, we were able to, based on the very promising results that we have had from our exploration license area, which is about 2,000 hectares, we thought that it better we secure something also around that one. And now we're at the stage where I think we have 9,300 hectares combined. We call it now Greater Ruoppa, and again, two of those are exploration reservation areas, which means that basically we have exclusive option to apply for exploration license, and for the most northern part, we actually did apply for exploration license for the whole reservation area. So again, timing, being fortunate, being maybe overlooked that part, but now I think we have a pretty commanding land position there in a great part of the country.
Basically, the reason why I ask people who come from sort of slight ignorance of how this industry works, they just assume that Agnico would have looked at everything there. They're a big company, they're successful, and they would have decided that this is not interesting, and they let someone else pick it up. But that's not how this works at all. They haven't looked. Trust me, they have not. usually don't do much discovery exploration. They actually let the smaller companies do that, and then they just pay up when it's de-risked and the discovery has been made and it fits their criteria, social, all of these things. Then they just buy it out at that point in time, and it's honestly a way better strategy for them to be able to do it that way. Maybe I should just ask you to give people a sense specifically with Agnico. What is their activity in this land package? Are they fielding sort of programs to try to make new discoveries, or are they quite passive in that respect in Finland?
Well, first of all, they've been also super active, of course, in the past, 15 years with the existing mine exploration on the mine site.
Yes.
They've been expanding that one and going deeper and deeper and whatever. So, I mean, that's also one part. I mean, that's exploration, right? But that's brownfields.
Yeah.
Or mine site exploration, I should say. Now, they do have a separate exploration team, which is then focusing on the. They have a big land package, and they are doing actively exploration. I know, they are doing directly that one, but also then they have formed JVs, or should I say, earning agreements with juniors, and I mean they hold 14% of REUPLOAD as well. It doesn't mean that they are being passive in there. They're active, but as you rightly described it, that seems to be the business model for most of the majors, if not all of them. That the past they maybe used to have a big exploration team, stable team there, doing exploration, but then more or less it's been outsourced. These junior mining companies, and once the juniors find something in a jurisdiction that is of interest to the majors, and then they start being more active and maybe buy into an equity position, maybe do an earning agreement, and hopefully one day, there's going to be a merger of something or acquisition.
But you're certainly seeing the big companies being interested in high quality discoveries in Finland. I mean, looking at Agnico, getting a foothold into REUPLOAD and other examples as well. So that's certainly the case.
It really is the case, and again, without naming any names, I've been contacted already by some major mining companies that don't have any kind of presence in Finland. So it kind of proves that there is interest towards the jurisdiction.
And these exploration reservations, what's the timeline to convert them to workable licenses, and how long do you expect that to happen?
So now, as I mentioned, for the most northern part, we call it NewQuest reservation. So it's an exploration license application right now. Mm-hmm. So the mining authority, which is the Finnish Safety and Chemicals Agency, we call it Tukes in Finnish. So, and very, I really respect them, and they are doing pro-business, and I think they've been doing really good work, and also assisting us and many other companies there. But the fact of the matter is that they are just understaffed, and there's quite a bit of a big backlog. So point being that it would be impossible for me to anticipate exactly when we're going to get the exploration license, and right now we're still keeping very busy on our fully permitted Ruoppa license. So it's not like we would need to be pushing them to be doing and granting it to us anytime soon or whatever, earlier or within this year. So cannot exactly tell you when it's going to happen, but what is in our control is, of course, that whether do we want to try to convert those reservation areas to exploration licenses, and that's totally up to us. And again, we still have time here until I think December, and then next August to be deciding on the remaining reservation areas and what do we actually want to do. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you're probably waiting to see how the drilling goes at Ruoppa. Do you re-rate? Then do you expand the fixed cost of and also, I mean, sort of that's also tempered by indications of that Ruoppa perhaps expands into those licenses also.
Exactly, you got it. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so I should ask about local stakeholders. Most people should obviously get the sense that this is the best place to do mining in, probably in the Nordics, I would say. Unfortunately, as a Swede, I have to say that. You can actually mine and permit here, although it takes more time than it would in many places in the world. It works, so that's very important. But the local stakeholder engagement at your property particularly, what are the main groups of considerations? Just explain the dynamics for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, congratulations to Sweden as well. It was number 6 on Fraser Institute, so not too shabby. And I think Norway was number 10, so pretty good for the Nordic countries. I'm all pro-Nordic person, so that's fine.
Yes.
But whenever it comes to local stakeholder management, it's super important. I'm sure it's everywhere. But sometimes people kind of, you know what, forget about it. It's fine. We just do what the law permits us to do. But I think it's much more than just that. It's a softer side, and we take it very seriously about the stakeholders. Kind of luckily in our case, especially with Ruoppa, we are on government land, so it's 100% owned by the government. The Ministry of, I guess, Land and Forestry would be the somehow appropriate translation. So that makes things much easier. It's a forest land. There is basically nothing what they do about it. So we are not harassing anybody there. You know, we're not bothering anybody. We see some reindeers in our property, but again, I mean, property is large enough for both of us to coexist. Reindeer herders are actually a very important stakeholder group because, again, we operate in the same lands and whatnot. So we are in close discussions with them and respect the time that they want to have also for the separation activities and whatnot. So we will then stop our drilling activities, which is actually in the mid-September, for a few weeks' time. Then again, the local government, the local municipality, we call here Kittilä municipality. It's a small municipality. They have about 6,600 people. There is a ski resort within the municipality. So basically, I think the two biggest employers are Kittilä Mine by Agnico, and of course all the other indirectly employed people by the mine, the service providers and whatnot, and then the ski resort tourism, I think in a larger sense. So that municipality is very mining friendly. A lot of people, a lot of voters somehow directly or indirectly work for the mine, or also the mine is the largest taxpayer in the whole province there in the northern province of Lapland. So all in all, it's so much easier. People are used to mining. They're very used to exploration activities. They understand it. They are not afraid of it. And then it's up to us to keep them updated on what we are doing, have the town hall meetings, and then individually get in touch with all the key decision makers. So it's been easy.
Okay, we'll leave it at that now. Let the geos dig through the specifics, and then we'll get back to some other questions. All right, so we've heard Tero talk about the strategy and about FinEx giving the presentation, the capital structure, and so on. And now we're here with the Finnish geologist, and I guess we have Petri here, who's the chief geologist, and then we have Eetu, who's the project manager. So, Petri, maybe you can start by telling us who you are and giving your career background, and then Eetu will follow suit.
Okay, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to join this meeting. My name is Petri Peltonen. I work as a chief geologist for the FinEx Metals. I have been involved with the FinEx Metals since everything got started. So I'm one of the founding persons as well. So I have a long background in both ore deposit studies in the academia and also in the industry. So I have been working since my graduation and my PhD in 1995. I have been working 15 years first in the Geological Survey of Finland, working as a project manager of the various commodities, nickel, copper, magmatic sulfides, gold, PGEs, diamond deposits. And I left the GTK in 2008 and joined the industry and have since been in numerous smaller or mid-tier exploration companies as a chief geologist or exploration manager and VP exploration position. And the latest before joining the FinEx team, I was as a exploration manager Europe for the First Quantum Minerals, a large copper company, global copper company. In addition to that, I have been teaching at the University of Economic Geology some courses, so getting some hands-on to the young geos coming into the business.
Perfect.
Yeah, excellent. So I guess I go next. My name is Eetu Jokela. And I'm working as a project manager here at the FinEx Metals. And well, 2008 when Petri left the survey and joined the industry side, I also started working in mineral exploration in Finland. And since then, I've been doing greenfields exploration with Agnico Eagle and Northland Resources. So several different exploration companies in Finland, and especially at the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt. So I basically worked my whole career around the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt areas. So it's a really, really familiar place and familiar geology for me with the project that we are working with FinEx Metals nowadays. I had a couple years detour at the consulting side with one of the largest consulting companies in the Nordics, AFRY, doing various projects with different mining projects and infrastructure geology. But then joined FinEx Metals and back to exploration side of the industry in 2022, and been since with the FinEx Metals here, working step by step with the greenfield exploration, gold and nickel. So that's kind of a brief introduction about
Perfect.
me.
And now it's time to drill, and you're drilling right now, so it's exciting. Going for
I'm actually at the site right now in Kittilä, and we have the drill rig running right now. So it's kind of hectic and busy and exciting time from currently.
But before we get there, let's just sort of pull up the maps here, show people the context, high level of the geology where we're at. Most will be familiar, but not all. So let's give everyone the courtesy of sort of getting the ground understanding here.
So we are working within the Central Lapland Greenstone Belt, which is actually a quite large entity shown here as a green color, extending from the eastern Finland, central Finland, and all the way up to the northwest to the Norway, and also northern Sweden. We are working in the part of this Central Lapland Greenstone Belt is the Kittilä area, where our focus is concentrated. So the area has received a lot of interest lately from major and smaller companies, and what is shown in this map is some of the main projects in the area. So Boliden is mining a low-grade magmatic sulfide deposit, mainly for nickel, copper, Pg, and cobalt in Central Lapland Greenstone Belt. Another magmatic sulfide deposit of similar age is the discovery by Anglo American called Sakatti, which is currently in the permitting and feasibility stage. So, and in the eastern Lapland is a little bit different. That's the Finnish minerals groups, Sokli, carbonatite, and rare earth element projects. However, currently most of the exploration is focused on gold, and the main deposit in the area is Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine, the largest gold producer in Europe at the moment. And then more recently, some years ago, REUPLOAD Resources has outlined the Ikkari gold discovery, which is in the feasibility stage, quite large, significant gold deposit as well. Other explorers include Firefox Gold, B2, S2. So there's a lot of activity and a number of juniors, such as the FinEx Metals. So we think the area has a much lower exploration maturity compared to many other similar early Proterozoic greenstone belts in the world, such as the Archean greenstone belts, PDB, Canada, or Southern Africa and Western Australia greenstone belts. So we think the area still has a substantial upside for new discoveries. So Eetu, maybe we can move on. So this is now we are zooming in a little bit to the actual Kittilä area. The green area here is called the Kittilä Autonomous Unit, and it's a thick, up to 6 kilometers thick package of mafic volcanics and some volcanoclastic sediments. All the yellow dots are gold deposits and showings, and traditionally a lot of exploration has been along the southern margin of the Kittilä belt called Sirkka line, where maybe 20 rather small deposits have been discovered, plus but also more recently also the Ikkari discovery shows that also that belt may host large world-class gold deposits. All these gold deposits are orogenic gold deposits, and they are strongly controlled by structures and shear zones, and second place for the main shear zones. And we are actually working in a little bit different area than the southern Sirkka shear zone. We are working north of Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine in the Ruoppa area, and as you can see, there's a major shear zone controlling the location of the Kittilä gold deposit and some others north of Kittilä, and then we come to the Ruoppa area, which is our main project. So we are indeed within the right structural and geological setting to explore for orogenic gold.
Yeah, this is just a regional setting. So as you can see, all the yellow polygons around here, it's the Agnico Eagle's exploration and mining licenses, and the blue ones are ours. So that just you can see that there is not that much competition. There's only Agnico and us at the area, and the red lines around here are the shear zones that we are targeting around here. But just to stay on the geology side more, this is the geological map of the Ruoppa area in a more detailed one. And what's important when we are looking for organic gold deposits is that we have to have the source for the gold. As Petri was talking, we have the 6 to 7 kilometers thick package of mafic volcanics in the Kittilä area, and that acts as the primary source of the metals and fluids that can bring the gold. Of course, when we have the source, we have to have some kind of conduit to bring the gold actually to the exploration site. So we need these large-scale deep crustal shear zones, and we have that one also in the Ruoppa project. So this is the Ruoppa shear zone, and as you can see, Kittilä mine is along one of the jugs of the larger scale shear zone, the Kiistala shear zone right here. So we have also that large conduit in the area. Of course, those two are not enough. We need to have some evidence that there actually has been some hydrothermal activity. So the fluid flow has to be happened in the area, and what we see in the rocks in the Ruoppa area, that there is quite evident hydrothermal alteration in the local rocks. So we know already that there has been some of the right activity in the area, and of course, because we have these smaller and larger organic gold occurrences and deposits already in the place. So that's even makes the case stronger that we have all the pieces of the puzzle in the Ruoppa. And of course, we have to have some kind of trap which traps the gold-bearing fluids in the area.
That's good context. I think we should just go into what work you have done since you picked it up. So basically, what information do we have about the rocks to convey?
Yeah.
Why this is being drilled now, why you went public, obviously, why it's a good target. That's the objective. So if we just go through it, all of it, mapping, soils, trenching, geophysics, everything, as comprehensively as possible.
So GTK's work at the area, it was focused on this really, really small part of the Ruoppa project. So that was one of the initial points that started the exploration at the site. After GTK, Orion Resources they had the same area for several years. 2015 was around that, and they did kind of extensive mapping, boulder hunting, outcrop mapping in the area. And by the way, all the yellow dots are gold values in the base of till, and the yellow diamonds are now that they should be showing gold values in the rock samples. So Orion Resources did mapping in the area quite extensively, and they found a couple really nice anomalies in the area. But they had to relinquish the area somewhere around 2020, right, Petri? Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been building our exploration on top of this model, and of course we've been exploring more the area more widely too. So Orion and GTK were focusing more in the central part of the Ruoppa, but as we started doing exploration in 2022, the first thing was we had much larger areas in Kittilä and Sodankylä, so we had to do this large scale soil sampling called ionic leach sampling, and I'm just gonna show you these are the gold values in the ionic leach soil sampling that we did in 2022. So there's this kind of short lines of soil sampling that we tested. The best areas that we thought at that time that were the most prominent. So we tested those, and based on this data, we narrowed down the area to the current limits of the permit, Ruoppa permit, the exploration permit area. So that was kind of the first step when what we did in 2022, and after that, when we applied for the exploration permit and got it, then we could bring actually the machinery in the area and started doing base of till sampling. Oh, well, that's showing now all the base of till sampling to date. So this is basically one of the only methods that you can actually use in northern Finland to cover large areas to find those exploration targets, because almost all the ground is covered by swamps or glacial till, so there is not that much outcrops in the area. So 2023 we started the base of till campaign in the area, did some areas at the central part of the Ruoppa, and of course tested some other areas to west and to north.
And to this, just for scale here, to see more easily, the main strike here, outline with the base of till, what's the strike there?
Well, in the central part is about almost 3 kilometers long.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah. And some of these values, people get a sense of what values you were seeing. Quite a bit of red there. Yeah. What's to the left? We can see what that entails.
Yeah, this is the scale for gold values in the base of till. So, especially in the greenfield exploration, if you get even 0.01 grams per ton gold in a base of till sample, it's an anomalous, and it's a good sign that something is going on there. So basically, all the dots you see that are yellow, orange, red, or purple, those are good signs for an exploration geologist.
Yeah,
and the highest being in the project 4.2. So we have some really high grade samples in the base of till the dataset too. And one point that's really good to know about this data is at some other places in northern Finland, you might have tens of meters of glacial till. In our project, it's approximately somewhere around 2 to 3 meters. So it's really shallow shallow back of glacial till. And we've been doing this trenching with excavators during this year, and we have really good knowledge about that. Actually, the base of till drilling is almost every time reaching the weathered bedrock. So it's more of a top of bedrock drilling that we have around this Ruoppa project right here. So we know that those gold anomalies that we have in this data, those are in situ. Those have not been exported or transported from anywhere else, but they are really local anomalies in gold or any other pathfinder elements that we are following here in Ruoppa.
Yeah, I mean that's a big deal and not always the case, obviously, in the Nordics.
No.
It's very good. But so the next activity then was basically the trenching, or did you do anything between the base of till or top of bedrock?
Well, of course, we've been doing geophysics too in the area. Geological Survey of Finland already did some ground magnetics, small IP surveys in 90s, but we did our own ground magnetic surveys in 2023 to compile the whole area together. And it's actually this now shows the results of that survey back then. So of course the geophysics, especially the magnetics, they really give us the right information about if there's any lithological contacts, about the structures in the area. If you can see these two large low magnetic trends around here, this is the Ruoppa shear zone. So we can get this kind of information from the geophysics, and since we are looking for organic gold, we need the info about the structures as well as the lithological contacts. So yeah, that we did also before we went to trenching in 2024.
So what observations you're showing here? The mag is the mag you're showing now?
Yeah, this is the mag, the TMI magnetics.
What do you think are the key key things to keep in mind, sort of guiding your exploration model going forward with the mag?
Well, in this area, we have our exploration model is quite clear right now that we are focusing on the contact area. So this is the Granodiorite intrusion down south here, the low magnetics around here, and these high magnetics, red and purple color. This is the volcanic rocks, the mafic lavas and mafic tuffs. So, well, as you can see from the base of till data, the highest anomalies are going across the contact zone between the mafic volcanics and the Granodiorite. So that's currently the focus area for us. And of course, we are looking for more exploration targets all the time. So we are looking for those structures that come from the major structure in the area, the Ruoppa shear zone. There are some this second or third order structures coming from the main shear around here. So these are the kind of the pieces that we are trying to put together, and where to look next for the next drill targets. So that's kind of the model right now.
I think the complex nature and form of the contact between the Granodiorite and volcanics, and those low magnetic features in the volcanic side, they are all signs of important structures and hydrothermal fluid activity which has affected the magnetic rocks.
Excellent. I mean, it sort of begs the question here. First of all, it seems you haven't closed off this anomaly along strike. Is that a fair assessment? And then also, could there be a separate strike on the northern contact closer to the main Ruoppa structure and close to the volcanics again?
Well, that's one reason why we have applied for the new tenements around the current Ruoppa area, that we know that this is the main structure, and this is not the only place that's really interesting for exploration. We have different kind of structures at the north side around here, and of course the contact zone is continuing to the east, and then down here it turns south, the contact zone. So there's plenty ground to explore for similar kind of mineralizations that we already know that there is in the Ruoppa East target.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we've been staking more ground around the Ruoppa project.
That's good, but concretely with this strike, this, if you just zoom in a bit more, did you actually do soil lines or base of till lines east and west beyond the anomaly? Because it doesn't look to be closed off, but I can't quite tell.
I will make the smallest samples a little bit bigger. So okay, now it starts showing well. Okay, so the black dots are now those samples that didn't show any gold values, but the current understanding is that the gold is in a narrow quartz veins, as that we know from the trenches in 2022. So hitting those 10 centimeter, 1 meter wide quartz veins with base of till drill rig, it's kind of difficult task. So these lines that are in the eastern continuation or in the western continuation, it doesn't tell the whole truth. So the spacing between these lines is something like 200 meters, and the sample spacing is 20 meters. So in the case of orogenic gold, sample spacing of 20 meters could hide a really good ore body already between the samples. So we will definitely test these continuations with this infill base of till drilling in the coming years. So we can see that we have some interesting anomalies already in these first pass base of till lines on the western and eastern continuation. So we need to really do the infill base of till here, because well, here you can see what the infill kind of looks like. These base of till drill lines, they are 50 meters away from each other, and the samples have been taken 10 meters away from each other. So it's really more closed up, more tight grid of sampling in the Ruoppa East target already. But yes, of course, we need to test the western and eastern continuations.
Maybe Eetu, you can also highlight a little bit of the northern trend, because we had defined another parallel trend to the north of the contact zone. That's approximately where your cursor is right now, running there along these low mag areas to the northeast. So there's a lot of work there to define that trend. So it looks like we have two parallel trends.
And Petri, do you base that only on the base of till information and sort of, or what more information do you have to
No,
support
this is based on the magnetic structures and the base of till information. That's all we have.
Okay.
Yeah. And also we did last year a couple trenches around here, and we got this similar kind of quartz veins around here that we found from the Ruoppa East.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty. We could actually go to the trenching.
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Yeah. Just a second, I'll take the right. So okay. So 2024, we after the base of till, we got the excavator to the project area and started trenching the most interesting areas. And as Petri was saying earlier about the northern trend, we did couple test trenches in the Ruoppa central area we know that there's an IP conductive anomaly in this area. So we did couple trenches there, and we already we found those gold-bearing quartz veins there. There were only few, but that kind of proves the point that we have these base of till gold anomalies in the area, and also we hit the gold-bearing quartz veins in the area. But the really the best results we got from the Ruoppa East target. So, okay, it's loading a little bit. In the base of till data, we already saw that, okay, this is a really good anomaly. It has really continuous high gold grades in the base of till sampling. So of course, let's put the excavator there, and we decided to do 3 trenches separated approximately by 100 meters each, and let's take the base of till away for a while. So this is the geological map of those trenches right here. I can take the there. You can see the lithology. So basically, all green colors, different shades of green, are the mafic volcanics, lava stuffs. Then we have the granodiorite with this pale color, peachy pale color around here. And then we have the pink, is this kind of aplytic dikes, which is like the same material as the granodiorite, but it's the kind of the late fluids of the intrusion, and it's really fine grained, and it's cross-cutting the aplytic dikes are cross-cutting granodiorites and mafic volcanics in the area. But those are basically the main lithologies in the area. So it's kind of simple system in that sense. And here we have also those black little lines in every trench. And those are the quartz carbonate sulfide veins that we were actually targeting in the area. So these black lines here are the quartz veins that are carrying the gold in this target. If I remember correctly, the mean value for all quartz vein samples that we took last year was something around 7 grams per ton gold. So it was really consistent in that sense. And almost every single quartz vein that we assayed last year contains some gold. Now you can actually see the gold assay values of different veins in this trench around here. And well, as you can see, there are some really high grade 45 grams per ton gold, some lower grade 0.2 grams per ton gold. Then it's a little bit, it varies a little bit how big is the gold grade in the veins, but basically almost every single vein is carrying some gold in this system. So this particular zone here is a little bit less than 30 meters wide, that we have had this best interceptions of the quartz veins, and the quartz veins, they are kind of thin, starting from 5 to 10 centimeters all the way to almost a meter wide veins base in this trench, and the approximate spacing between the veins is something like 1.5 meters in this area right here.
So when you sample this, you basically visually sample the quartz veins only, and then skipped all the intervals in between. So no. We sampled the rocks between the veins too. So what we did, we
took crab samples, so no continuous sampling, but crab samples always on the veins and on both sides of the veins too.
Okay.
So we have reference samples from the wall rocks also. So from these trench samples, it seems that the gold is only in the veins, and there is not that much gold in the wall rocks. We had some samples, mafic volcanic samples that had some gold in them, but those samples usually had also some small, like millimeter to centimeter scale quartz veining in them. So it's really highly likely that the gold is from the quartz veins in those samples too.
And what was the reason for not channel sampling? Obviously, that would have been optimal to do, I presume.
That would have been, but the situation in our project areas, so we have the thin till bed in the area from 2 to 3 meters, and then we have this weathered bedrock, so it's basically really broken and weathered bedrock all the way up to, I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 meters. So it's not this nice smooth surface on the bottom of the trench, but it's more of this like rock rubble there. So taking a channel sample with the soil would have needed quite a lot of extra work to do. So that's why we didn't do the channel sampling last year. But actually, we did do some channel sampling this year with the new trenches. So let's see what those results will be.
Okay. And generally in these 3 trenches, they are spaced basically 100, 150 meters between each other, and they are about 150, 200 meters in length as well.
Yeah,
and
that's
across all of them. You said the mean gold value for the rock chip samples, basically in the quartz veins, was 7 grams.
Yeah.
What was the mean thickness of the veins observed? Ballpark.
Around 10 centimeters. That's so those are thin veins, thin quartz carbonate sulfide veins that run across all the lithology. So yeah, it's not these huge cartoon like meter scale veins. At least we haven't found them yet. So we don't know if this is the best direction of veining around here. So we know that from these 3 trenches that we know that the main direction of the veining is almost east-west striking. So that's what we know now. But this is of course only a couple hundred meters of trenching in this particular area, and we haven't tested another directions of the trenching right here. So,
but you also, as we can see, for example, down in the south of the central trench there, you have northeast, southwest dipping veins. So what's going on? Are they different in nature, or are they observably the same sort of sulfide composition and so on?
All the veins. So I'll make it clear. So the main direction of the strike of the veining is east-west, but we have other directions. In the there's some northwest trending veins. Some of the veins are dipping towards south. Some of them are dipping towards north, and we actually found some horizontal veins also in the area, which is kind of lucky with the trenching. But because we could actually excavate meter or 2 into the weathered bedrock, so we had that exposure too, so we could find those horizontal veins in the trenches too. So that the drilling will tell if those horizontal veins will be what the interval will be with those veins, but we could also get those. So there is numerous different directions of veins in the area, and as we know, all sample veins and vein orientations or vein types carry gold. So that's the understanding currently.
Okay, what's the best guess on the reason why you have vastly different orientations like this? Do you think there have been different events causing this, or the deformation post event?
Yeah. So it's actually, if I put the elevation model on the background. Just a second. This shows. This is a pretty good image of the area. So this is now the elevation model of this area, and you can see that we have this couple like old river beds or something like this kind of gorges in the area. These are actually old faults or shears in the area. So we know that we have at least 2 large shear zones around this Ruoppa East target, which means that we have had at least 2 directions of mechanical movement in the area, which could have opened those fractures open for the fluid to come and precipitate in the rocks. So that's probably one of the reasons why we have such different vein orientations in the area. And of course, the trenches, because it's weathered bedrock and it's that rock rubble everywhere, some of the structural information is kind of really hard to read. But now with the drill rig in the area, and we are drilling oriented core, of course. So after the logging of the drill core, we will have much better idea of the real structures in the area and what's the kinematics of the system here. So
if we think about the deposit in a 3D, it's very important for the economics of the deposit that it's not only a single vein orientation is mineralized, but it's like a stockwork where all the orientations hopefully contain gold, so then you get actually good volume to the deposit, not just a single thin veins.
But I mean, quite likely what I'm hearing based on this, if it is the case that you have essentially a spider web of differently sort of orienting smaller veins with high grade, I guess on average already they look to be quite dense in locations, but if you have multiple orientations, they could be very dense, and I guess that could equate to an open pitable scenario here. Would be interesting, but we'll have to wait and see what the drill rig tells, I guess.
Yes, the drilling will.
The truth. Yeah, the
truth it's a little bit troublesome, I guess, to mine small veins like that if they are not extremely dense underground. It would be a lot easier to sort of bulk it out if you have. I guess we'll wait and see.
We'll have to wait for the lab results from the drilling, and also it's good to remember that this is the first pass drilling program that we are now conducting in the area, only like 2,500 meters. So that will hopefully give us a better understanding of the rocks and the orientations and the structures in the area, and also of course verify the gold grade continuity down below, of course. But that's really quite a few. Only a little exploration projects hit the jackpot at the first drill pass, but we don't know. Now we are drilling and waiting for the results to come from the lab.
Yeah, this area is only 300 meters wide, so that's just a small fraction of the 3 kilometers long trend we know already.
Yeah. But before we talk about how the drill holes are designed, just briefly for me to summarize what we know. So we essentially know you have a structural model where you have the mag data outlining a contact. It's correlating with base of till gold anomaly soils. You think that you could have a northern strike that's parallel more or less to the existing defined strike in base of till. You're going to pursue that to try to define that. You also interpret the mag lows to be sort of defining this contact and defining the structural weakness where this gold will be hosted. So you have this model. It's been proven with the base of till entrenching, and now obviously the ultimate truth machine is the drilling. So that's where we're at currently. So the drill program, if we just look at the drill program, what the first couple of holes, obviously, you guys have a budget for X thousand meters of drilling, but the first holes you're drilling, where are they, and why did you pick that location and that orientation?
So the first drill holes are located, of course, in the best part of last year's trenching. So the first drill holes are testing. Let's zoom a little bit here. So we are testing this trench number 3 from last year, which had the most intense zone of veining here, and we are drilling directly under the trench right here, so that we can confirm the vein continuity down below the trench, and we will also test drilling the system from north to south here, and then of course continue towards west with the trend. So we know that we had the really high grade gold samples in this middle trench around here. So we will also drill directly under this one and try to catch the veins around here. And of course we will not only try to catch the veins close to surface, but we will drill a couple like back holes to these ones from down south here. They're gonna be drilled from south to north, try to catch the veins in depth, and also at the same time we can catch the contact zone between the mafic volcanics. Let's maybe put the geophysics on. So the mafic volcanics here, Granodiorite here. So drilling from here towards north, we can actually confirm the contact deep down and see if the contact is kind of controlling the veining, or if the shear that's going around here, if that has some kind of control over the veining in the area. So that's the current plan for the first holes, and we try to be kind of flexible with the program. So we will log the core as soon as it comes to the ground, and adjust the plan as we go. So if you can see that, okay, this is not the right drilling direction, then we tilt the angles of the next holes, move the color sides a little bit to get to the better place and get a better understanding, and get a right angle to the drilling to get really to the juicy parts of the system.
But basically, all the first 3 holes are biased towards the data provided by the trenches, obviously, and there you're mainly mapping the east-west veins.
Yeah.
You don't know, perhaps north-south veins or other northeast-southwest veins will be dominant, but you just don't know because the trenches gives you this bias currently.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why we of course will do some other drilling directions to try to catch the some other vein orientations, and of course with the north south way drilling orientation, we can catch quite many of the vein orientations, and we will also measure the structures as we go. So we will have that information also to adjust the plan accordingly to the right direction.
And then I would like to ask, and obviously I think you have 2,500 meters, 3,000 meters budgeted for currently, right?
Correct.
2,500, yeah.
And these first 3 holes, they would amount to, is it 500 or 600 meters? You're not going that deep initially, I presume.
No. Something like 400 meters for the first 3 holes. I think we have planned, like locked the first 6 holes, and they're gonna be around here, drilling, testing these ones and the back holes from here to there. That's around 1,000 meters. So then we have 1,500 meters to adjust the plan after those holes.
I
So
think
there's plenty
maximum
meters to drill out.
vertical depth is maybe 150 meters or so. We are not doing yet any deeper drilling. So we started from the shallow, go a little bit deeper. That's the first time.
Yeah.
And so far, what's the advance rate been? You've only been going for a couple of weeks here, right?
Yeah, we have something like 1,000 meters drilled.
Yeah,
like that already.
drilling has run smoothly. No,
Yeah, no big
any
problems at all.
no technical or other problems. So
Yeah.
very well managed by the contract.
Yeah,
And we should expect an assaying time of perhaps a month or something on average.
Yeah, that's the average, I think, for the labs nowadays. Of course, when we enter close to September, October, then many other companies will also send the assays to labs. So if our logging and sampling continues to late September, early October, then the turnaround time will be probably a little bit longer. But yeah, 4 weeks is kind of good estimate for the first rounds of assays. Yeah.
And then I just would like to ask, I mean, obviously organic systems have a longevity to vertical depth, and you can also see change to vertical depth in how they are expressed. What do you guys think? Maybe you can pull by analogy. Do you have any other systems that you know of that are sort of similar skinny veins, and then they perhaps sort of concentrate into something a bit more thick and to depth, or are there any such hypotheses you guys are pursuing?
Yeah,
here?
basically along these structures can be really extensive. So they are crustal shear structures. So they extend, may extend tens of kilometers to the mid crust, actually. And that is one characteristic feature of the orogenic gold deposit, is that they can be very extensive. For example, the nearby Kittilä mine, now they just ran the shaft down to 1100 meters and they are operating already, I guess. I think they have verified by drilling that it's down to 2 kilometer depths.
Yeah.
So these can be really extensive systems.
Unlike sort of low sulfidation epithermal or something where you have 200-300 meters of vertical, here you often see a kilometer of vertical extension or even more.
Yeah.
But obviously you guys will stick with the easy pick and start with the shallower stuff, and then you'll work yourself down.
Yeah.
The question I guess we should cover, what do you know about the minerals? So far, because Kittilä obviously is refractory. That wasn't a problem because Kittilä was high grade enough and the morphology was good, so they could mine it. But what do you know currently?
We think, or actually we know, that this has very different mineralogy to Kittilä. So Kittilä, the gold is invisible, refractory gold is hosted by arsenopyrite, and we have very low arsenic content. We have higher some other pathfinders. So we think, and we have seen some native gold which nobody has seen in Kittilä. So this is we think this is small native gold grains, but we have not done any mineralogy studies in detail.
The geochemistry kind of implies that the gold is associated with bismuth, tellurium, and silver, and some copper. Okay. So those are the main pathfinder elements for us when we are looking for the extensions to this mineralization. So bismuth, tellurium, and silver seem to be the best correlating elements right now.
And I guess just a bit more information going down to the contact with the granite. Could you explain a little bit more in detail what the idea is there? Because you have a whole test saying that you think that the anomaly could extend, essentially the gold could extend to be hosted within the granite as well.
That is exactly what we expect or know. If you can Eetu put the till lines or maybe the local boulders by historical explorers. So we can see, if you see it on the left side of, for example, where the green area is already the granodiorite, there's very significant gold anomalies in till. So we are broadly following the contact zone, but in a detail it's sort of cross-cutting and it's straddling between the volcanic rocks and the granodiorite. And we think our model is that also the granodiorite is mineralized close to the contact zone. Maybe a little bit different type, maybe disseminated, maybe not so clearly towards vein hasty, but we will see.
Okay. So that's going to be very interesting. I guess so. So we know the next steps for drilling. I mean, that's the main thing now. Obviously, the most important thing.
Yep.
But other activities beyond the drilling, what are you guys planning on doing? I mean, infilling with base of till we talked about. We have this northern trend. What's actually planned? What activities are planned? Sort of generative baseline data work.
Well, basically, to generate new drill targets in this part of the world, you need to do base of till drilling. That's the most important tool for our exploration. And that's definitely something we're going to continue as soon as we can get this drill program done and the data crunched. So base of till, of course. We have those new areas around the Ruoppa project. So to those, I think we're gonna do some kind of soil sampling to get the first pass information if there's any good anomalies in the areas. We did this large drone magnetics around the Ruoppa area, so we have some geophysical information of the other tenement areas. But let's see. Quite a lot of depends on the results of the drilling. So if we hit some good gold grades, of course we will continue drilling. That's for sure. But we have to wait for the results from the lab to know better.
But I do believe that you will be able to do two things at once as well, right? But now you're a bit sort of budget constrained, and you need to see what's going to happen here. But if you have success, I would imagine that you do both.
Yeah, for sure. Then the speed will go up after if the results are good, of course, and we'll keep drilling and do the base of till drilling, of course. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe some geophysics could be beneficial. IP maybe. Don't know. But have to give a little thought about that. Maybe that could help. And of course, next year we can do more trenching in those areas that we now find more base of till anomalies in the areas that we did base of till this year. So basically we have a concept that works. Do the soil sampling first, geophysics accommodate that, then take the base of till rig, the drill rig to the area, and then some trenching, and then the drill rig there. So it's really working, that concept. So let's copy that and continue.
So here we can see the holes, and just what's been the order of drilling now? Interesting people to know.
So we started with this one, right here. So it was drilled below the trench, and at first I want to tell you that these lines, they are it's an approximation of the direction of the drill hole. It's not the true length of the drill holes right here. So the drill holes, these lines show you the direction of drilling right here. So we started with this one, drilled directly under the best trends of 2024 from south to north. Then we continued up here, drilled another one down south to test the continuation here. Then we moved over here to test the middle trench, where was the high grade 95 grams per ton gold last year in trench. And then we also, I think we did this one. Yeah, this one, they tested the continuation a little bit further that way. And after those 4 holes, we moved the drill rig to the Granodiorite side down here, drilled this one down here through the shear zone and the contact zone between Granodiorite and mafic volcanics under the trench 3 of the last year. And then we are currently at this drill hole right here, number 6, 7 was it number, and it's going actually quite deep under the middle trench of last year now. So that's the situation where we are right now at.
Okay, so you're getting to the point now where you're gonna digest all of this information, and then, but I mean, you're sticking with the same orientations. To me, that looks promising.
Yeah, Yeah. We're sticking with the same orientation here, and we have a couple drill holes down south here and up northeast right here that we are testing couple hypotheses that we have a little bit different orientation that we could catch if we have some other vein orientation in the area. With these, we could catch those ones, and then we are planning to continue the drill program a little bit towards west because the vein trend was going this way towards here. So let's see how far we can get with the program. And of course, we are adjusting these drill holes and the orientations all the way when we get new results from the drill holes.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, exciting times. We'll see what the drill holes say here in 4, 5, 6 weeks, and
Correct.
we'll be back to discuss then also when you're sort of designing your next leg of drilling and perhaps your sort of data generative programs with base of till and other activities. So
Exactly.
Cheers. Best of luck.
Thanks for the interview.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
The potential permutations, we indicated sort of when we discussed the budgeting that you're already thinking about ideas of how the program could be expanded. You would have, I guess, 1.5 million Canadian at the end of this year, according to your budget, as you mentioned before, to sort of discretionarily expand the drill program before year end potentially. And again, you budgeted 250 Canadian, right, for
330.
330 Canadian per drill meter,
Yep.
and that's 2,500 meters. So you can do the maths. It's fairly inexpensive. You could easily expand that significantly. So just detail your thinking on this. I mean, let's say you're successful. Obviously, financing could be considered to top up, but what sort of expansion could you foresee before this year's end if you think it's merited to expand? Would it be a doubling of the program, or what would you have in mind?
Well, that's a great question. Again, it depends quite a lot of depends on the actual results from this first pass program. Let's be honest. I mean, that really is a big thing for us. Should we be, as you said, a successful program? Yes, we will be raising more money. We will be drilling much more. The timing, I cannot give you that exactly because, as I said, we want to go through all the data what we are gathering throughout the field program, not just purely because of the first initial 2,500 meter program. So that's one thing. I don't want to be rushing too much on that one. It depends on the market conditions, as you know, all of these things combined. But yes, we would be raising more money, and we would be drilling much more than 2,500 meter within next year. That's what I would want to do. Having said that, we'll see what the results are, whether there's going to be need for a more moderate drill program for whatever reason, or can we go out for in full speed. So that remains to be seen. We'll find out in a couple of months.
And you're already at this point, I would sort of infer, or the geos actually told me, you're basically done with 1,000 meters. You're close to being halfway done with the program at this point in time. So you're advancing nicely here. Obviously, the results take a bit longer. It's gold, so you need to get the lab results back. You can't simply necessarily see the results, obviously.
That's right.
You'll need to wait for that, but and it's also you don't have any seasonality here more or less. So you would have the time this year to drill more this year over winter. And I do assume that the winter costs, would they be significantly higher, or would they be somewhat similar, just because of the cold climate, obviously, at that point in time?
Right. So as for my understanding is the cost basis would be very, very similar to what it is right now. There won't be actually sometimes it's even easier. Mobility is even easier there because of snow and whatnot. So I don't see any kind of major difference in there. To me, it's more of a drill rig availability. That's one thing, and the other thing is then really about how does the sequencing go? Okay, once we get the result, when do we start the financing? We also simultaneously want to give enough time for our technical team and our advisory team to be really carefully planning the phase 2. Where exactly would we be drilling and what. So I just personally, I don't want to be rushing that part. I want to be, maybe it's the Finnish mindset still in me, be prepared, do your preparation really, really well. And once you're prepared, then we start the execution and do it very efficiently. And so, again, I would hope that we will be drilling during at least commencing drilling during the first quarter of next year.
Okay. That gives people a good sense of what to expect. So likely, I mean, in almost all permutations, you see sort of a breather towards Q4. Getting into Q4, you're going to sort of digest the results, perhaps coordinate a financing to then initiate a larger scale program going into next year. Could be with one rig initially, probably, and then you might mobilize a second sometime next year, depending on how.
Exactly. Spot on. That's right.
Okay, that's good. I think we should you just briefly mention, I mean, you have some other land holdings and projects across the portfolio. Maybe you can just let us know where those are at, if any activities will be carried out to potentially look out for. You never know in exploration.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah. So what we have is 3 other gold projects. Those are exploration license applications, so we are not fully permitted in those ones, but still, yeah, optionally. 2 of them would be actually nearby where we are, so within the same shear zone or same geological setting itself near the Agnico Eagles Kittilä mine. So that's one thing. One of them is in the eastern part of Finland, eastern part of Lapland, and there nearby we also have one fully permitted. We call it Tulppio project. Is fully permitted, but that's really more of or specifically for the critical minerals. So that would be nickel sulfides, would be palladium, would be platinum, cobalt, and potentially copper. We haven't done much work. We did soil sampling in that property in 22. GTK, the Finnish Geological Survey, actually they drilled that. It's an intrusion of 5 times 2 kilometers and about 2 kilometers deep based on GTK's gravity measurements, and they hit metal with most of the drill holes. The very shallow holes, I think in average about 100 meters, and then it's about 2 kilometers deep intrusion. So typically those better grades might be somewhere deeper. But anyway, so they're pretty decent numbers actually, pretty good, attractive numbers, and that's something that doesn't fit, I guess, too well right now into our portfolio. We are called FinEx Metals, not FinEx Gold. So yeah, maybe. But gold is right now still the thing that attracts the markets, and we are focusing on gold and our Ruoppa key project right now. But I can see a lot of optionality there, whether it means that we would be able to attract a partner there of some kind, whether it's a major or somebody else. Again, the EU's Critical Raw Materials Act, so there is some support for more self-sufficiency for certain minerals within EU, and we are looking for all these opportunities and options for that specific property. And then we have 5 other properties on that same belt and really focusing more on the nickel and other critical raw materials. So it's an interesting combination of, let's say, 6 critical metals tenements, I should say, or properties, and then 4 gold properties, what we have. And right now, I don't think we can get any value whatsoever on those other additional projects outside of Ruoppa. But that's just the way how it is, and gives us some optionality for the future.
Do you have any planned activities for those projects right now or not right now?
Not within this year. I mean, specifically if you're asking if we are doing something by ourselves, but at least next year I would want to get something going on there and on that Tulppio project.
Okay, so we'll get back to that then when it's time.
Good.
So, I think that's good. I should briefly ask, I mean, are you guys looking for picking up new ground? I mean, you just explain briefly if there's any corporate development sort of initiatives. Obviously, you guys are in contact with majors, looking to see if there's some angle there. So that is known, but are you looking to potentially pick up some new ground, or is that a component going on here? FinEx
that's a good one. I mean, that's what we're doing all the time, and thanks to that one, actually, we have this all the tenements, all the projects are staked by us. They're 100% owned. There are no underlying royalties, whatever. So it's squeaky clean, which of course makes it sometimes more attractive than for acquisitions. But we are looking for. I mean, we got a pretty systematic way of checking on what's going on, because again, there will be some tenements that will be relinquished because of whatever the land holding costs or whatever reason, and so we're looking for that one. Opportunistic and pragmatic manner. Having said that, we really want to continue focusing on that central Lapland greenstone belt. We want to stay away from the areas that we can foresee delays or potential problems with the stakeholders. So we're very picky on that one. I mean, there are some great tenements available with geologically speaking, but to me, as a businessman, as a CEO, I also want to see that I'm not here for a, let's say, technical experiment. I'm here to run a business, and it has to be something that we will be able to advance to a certain point that a major mining company would be interested, or a partner would be interested in. So we're very picky, looking actively, but being very picky.
Good. That's excellent. Final question we always like to ask: if you sort of characterize the 3-year vision for FinEx Metals, what would you? And obviously, this is a difficult one when you're sort of doing your first drilling here. But where would you like to see the company in 3 years from now?
Well, I would definitely like to see it first of all in a much higher valuation, or maybe even transacted with somebody at that point. But as you said, right now in our first pass maiden drill program is going on. We don't have any single assays yet, so it's a pretty difficult question at this point. But again, we've been doing this for 4.5 years. Adding another 3 would be 7.5. I think my original vision would be that ideally I would be out of this one in 7 years. Maybe it's going to be expanded to 9, but if that kind of answers your question, that I really want to start developing this very, very quickly. But now we need to go through this first pass drill program.
Okay, Tero, we'll leave it at that, and obviously we'll get back to everyone when we get the first couple of results out there. I would expect that to be likely in sort of early October, perhaps somewhere around there, or sometime in October.
I would say, yeah. Let's leave it open. Let's use sometime in October before commenting to early part. But sometime in October, yes. So actually, when time flies very quickly, so it's gonna soon here, almost immediate catalysts.
Perfect. Okay, we'll leave it at that.